So we've been talking about functions in four forms. I'm going to show you two activities that we can do with students to help reinforce this concept. Again, this is not a day one activity with the functions. This would be something they could do after they've gotten familiar with these various forms. The first one I want to show you is the ever popular function foldable. Yay, there it is. So what we have with the function foldable is we're just going to take an ordinary sheet of paper, and you can cut the paper lengthwise into either 3 or 4 sections, just depending upon how big you want it to be. And so what you might do is take the foldable and ask students to perhaps give you the other 3 representations. If you give them 1, or maybe to start out with, give them 2 or 3 and ask them to do the other 2. As always, I'd encourage you to have your students work on them in groups or pairs if at all possible. So let's say, for example, with this one, maybe I was given an equation, and from the equation, I might then go ahead and do a table. I might go ahead then and do a graph, and I might go ahead then and do this in Word form. So this is just a way that they can practice this. You could have a group of 4 students together, each one starting with a different representation, and then the students would write in another one and then pass it on, and so on. So a lot of different ways that we can use the function foldable. Very easy to get together because it just involves having some functions together and some paper. Very easy to do. Okay. So that was the first one. The second one is the function matching game. And the function matching game you have on the course, you can download the sheet for it. And so essentially the student's job is to put the 4 forms of the function together. What I would suggest you not do is tell them how to do this. You've gone through, you've shown them how these 4 forms will link up and match up. I would just let groups or pairs do these on their own. Then at the end, after they've gone through and matched all the 4 forms together, what you can ask the various students to do is how you did it. It's always fascinating to see, because sometimes students will start with the table, and then they'll go to graph it, and then they'll write the equation, and then they'll write it out in words. There's no one right way to do this. There's several ways that would work. So it's always fascinating. I would ask every group, how did you do it? And that just kind of helps to open up the thinking of the other groups to see how the other ones came up with their solution. So 2 great methods, the foldable and the function matching game, to be able to help students get a little bit more practice of seeing functions in not 1, not 2, not 3, but functions in 4 forms, 4, 4, 4. So try this in your classroom and let me know how it goes.